Can you hear me now? Let's see if you can hear me. I think you can. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I apologize for that. Let's gonna start with today's webinar. If you allow me one moment, we will start. Well, okay, everyone can see my screen, you can hear me, everything is perfect. Okay, let's go to start first. Welcome everyone for today's webinar. My name is Daniel and thanks for being here. I apologize for the delay. Thanks, Mary. Well, this is gonna be my first webinar, so bear with me. Let's gonna do this together. Today, I will show you how to upload a contract to the system and how to edit it, okay? So let's get started. Everything's good. You can see my screen. Can you please confirm me by the chat if you can see my screen? Thanks, Jeffrey. Okay, perfect. So today, like I said before, we are going to, today, we will explain how to upload a contract to the system. Remember that REIFax does not include any document or contract. You have to have those in your computer as a blank PDF. But once that you have it, we can provide you with the system on how to upload those documents to the system. Unless you are part of the BRIA or GRIA's mentorship, in that case, you will have documents, you will have contracts uploaded already. But in case you're done, today I will show you how to upload those documents. So for that, let's go into your settings here on the left. Remember that this left menu allows you to navigate through the different tabs in our system. So let's go into settings like this. You will have in here all the options. The first option that comes up is this, the assistant, but you need to select the second one, the documents one. And here is a list of all the documents that you already upload to the system, like the one that I have in here. But if you don't have, you will have any document. So what you can do in that case? Well, remember, you need to have that document in your computer as a PDF file in blank. And let's go to select add document like this. Now you will look and navigate through your computer until you reach the folder where you have it. I already have here mine. So let's go to select this one and select open. A disclaimer will appear that this is just that you are allowing to use this document. Just select agree and the document will upload. Let's see if you have a question over the chat. No, Juana, today we will focus only on the documents, okay? If you want to look for search techniques, you can look in, remember that on the REIFax homepage, you will have the source, the resource tab, and if you select webinar, you will have a list of all previous webinars if you want to look for one that is talk about the search techniques. Also, if you go in your account and select webinars here at the bottom, you also will see that list where you can find those webinars, okay? In the next couple of weeks, we will doing one for that. No, not a problem, Juana. Let's see, you have one. The last one with the searches was on this date. So you can select it and look at it. So we were in here. I already uploaded. This is the second one that I have in here. So how to, now that I uploaded, this is a, remember, this is a blank PDF file. If I open it, you will see that all of the options to edit it. So how the system knows how to fill up those documents. Remember that the system will fill up for you all the information on the document. But for that, it's necessary that the system knows what information is must to be added. So the first thing that you will do is select the document, just like I did, like this, it will open this new in window where all the information is displayed. So what do? First, assign a name, so that way you will know exactly what the purpose of this document. So for example, you can have the same blank document, but for different purpose. So I recommend to give it a name so you will know which one to use at any given case. For example, if I select, let's gonna select test in this case, or let's gonna give it a webinar name. So, to differentiate this one for the one that I already have in here uploaded with the same name, because it's the same type of contract. So let me move this over here. Okay. So now that you assign a name, you will need to assign your name, your options name under the contract. You have two options to do this. First, you use your personal name. For example, Daniel Velasco, that is my name. Next, as your address, I will just input address line 1, address line 2, and go on like that. Next, you will need to add the additional info for the acceptance days, closing days, inspection days. This is up to you on how you do it. For example, let's gonna say 15, just to give it closing date also 15. You will know better than I what days you must have in here. And again, 15 for the inspection days. I don't know if that's correct, but okay. Any questions? Okay, we're good. So now, how do you fill your insight in the contract? Just select here, edit contract. As you see, I have already this document, this contract in blank. I explained before, so it is necessary for the system to know what to input in here. And how you do that? By using the variables. So let's gonna start filling up this up. For example, the parties. You will need to select the sellers and the buyers and names. How do you do that? By using this square that you see here, this drop down, there is a list of all the variables that you need. For example, let's gonna select seller name. It's on alphabetical order, so it's very easy to look for that. Let's gonna select, it's gonna look for seller's name. So, for example, seller's name here. Why is giving me this? Because I need to have my cursor in a position. So that's gonna click over here first, so to prevent that to appear. And now, again, select the variable, seller's name. And now I can move this, I can drag this across the window and place it where I want it to be, just like this. Now I need my name, the buyer's name. I just click over it like we did it before to prevent that, the warning that we had it before. And now look for buyer's name. And move it around so you can place it over the line the way you want it. Perfect, like that. So the idea is that you start fill up all the variables that you need. I know that this seems to be a lot of job, this is annoying, but remember that this is to save your time. This is, you're going to do it only once, and after you finish with all the variables, the system will fill up that for you. So it will save you a lot of time when you want to sign a document, because that way the system will know how to fill up everything. So it's not necessary to manually do this each time. Once that you have this template, that you have the document created like this, the system will already fill up that for you. So next is the property description. You see that it's asking in here, street address, city, and zip code. And those variables are in here. But if I do this, for example, it's gonna look for a street address, street, I guess it's under the S. It's gonna look for it. User address, property address in that case. It should be as property address. Oh, we have a question here. Yes, property address. Thanks, Danny. I know. Sorry, just a blank moment for me. So, property address here. If I do this, and now I select property city, I guess, like this, I can place it like this, but there is a problem. Maybe this, because it varies in the length, maybe it overlaps one with another. How to prevent that when you place two different variables, how to prevent the overlapping? It's gonna just delete those and do it using the text, add text function. So in here, you can add a text, okay, a default text, or you can add the variables and place it like this. For example, it's gonna, again, select property address, comma, space, and now property city, again, comma, space, and last, property zip code. And add. And you see, it will create this big variable with all the variables included, and that way it prevents to be overlapping one with each other. So you can place it over the line like this. Located in this case, is the county. With this one, we can use the normal one, property county. And place it all over. Property tax ID or the folio number, you look for folio number and go like that. It's gonna see. So, until so far, did you have any questions? If you have any questions, please type in on the chat and we'll answer, okay? Just gonna wait a minute to see if we have any question. No questions, I think. I think so far so good. So I will continue. Okay, now let's add the offer for this property. Let's select offer, price. See, this is why it's important always click before adding the variable so you will know where it's going to appear. Offer price. Now you can add the balance also. Balance to close. If you input the correct variables, the system will do the mathematical, it will give you the correct amount. It will do the mathematical problem for you. So it's going to select, I think it is in here, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm misplacing, I apologize. Balance to close. So you can add all the variables you need and start adding all of that. You see this small space to add a check mark. You can also add a check mark. It's just by placing the cursor, give a click, and you have those options. It will appear and you can move it and drag it around. Okay. Also, if you want, instead of a check mark, use this one. You can also use this one and place it where it corresponds, where you wanted to have it. Scroll agent information, all of that is going to be here as a variable. And if you have it already, that information on your system, it will appear like this. For example, it's gonna scroll email agent, scroll agent. What else you can upload? You can upload your own initials and signatures. Remember that if you want to know how to upload your own initials, you can always check for in our help section for the videos that explaining how to add your own signatures and initials to the system, also with the scroll agent. So you can always check those videos if you have any one reason how to add that information. But once that you have it here on the system, is just by selecting this, you will have your signatures and your initials. So for example, it's gonna add my initial in here. It's gonna place it over here, move it around a little bit. It's gonna make it big so we fill up the space. It's a little bit, you can barely see it, but that's the way I add it. But if you add it from a document that you have it, you will find that and how to do that under the video, and you make it just a little bit clearer than mine. But you add it like that. Now, let's say that this page is already done. Let's move to the next one. To move to the next page and start adding all the information is by clicking in here. Or you can move it in here, like this or like this. And you navigate through the pages. Any questions so far? It's gonna look at the chat. I think that so far we are good, but if you remember, if you have questions, you can always ask those in the chat and I will answer, okay? So let's continue. Well, like this, you start adding the check marks that you may need. Remember, select a position first, move it, place it around, all the wording you need. If you need to add your initials, like that, and start moving to navigate through the page and set up everything. Let's gonna forward and go into this part, the additional terms. We do not have a variable for the additional terms, of course, because this varies in each contract and each of your own settings. So in this case, you have to, I apologize, in this case, you have to manually input your text, your additional terms. How to do that? We already see it by using, of course, the position, by using the add text function. So let's say that you want to add a variable, you actually want to add a text. For example, I apologize for this. If you want to add one of the additional terms, closing agent will be, and now you can use one of the variables and combine those. For example, scroll agent's name. Add it and place it all over in here. Or it just can be a plain text, okay? Not necessary to add a variable. For example, any additional terms that you want to add, it can be placed in here. The seller agrees to, and like that. Well, yeah. Agree to, and I don't know, you put whatever you want and place it over in here. Or the buyers agree to visit the property, and you know better than I what you need to have in here. So it can be combined, the text with a variable or just plain text. After you're finished with the additional terms, you place it over the lines. Add the initials like you did before. If you need to add a check mark, we already saw how to do that. And next, let's gonna move to the last page where I need my signatures or the date. So how to add a date? Well, just look for the variable, for example, today's date. Why today's date? Because it will be applied when you send the document that day, that day's date. So it will take it from there. So it's gonna look for today. Here. First, select the position. See, you have always to click first. Don't be like me. So here, today's date, and you place it all over in here. Now, let's say that you need your own signature in here. It's the same way as your initials, just like this. And move it around, place it all over where you need it, and just put it in here. Like this, or whatever you want it. See? That's gonna, or you can make it bigger and put it in here. So after you finish, after you already add everything that you need, you will need to save this, okay? You can save it in here. And okay, it's already saved. Any questions so far? Just gonna look at the chat. I think that very nice feature, says Jeffrey. Thanks, Jeffrey. Yes, we have implemented all of these features so that way it saves you a lot of time. I know may looks like very annoying to do at the beginning, but remember that this is going to be done only one time and then it's finished. And also there is another feature that I will explain briefly, that it will show you that it will save you a lot of time. If you have to customize different documents, it's not necessary to always be like this and start all over again. No, there is a feature for that I will explain. Jeffrey, have a question. So this template pull data from any listing in the database that we select. Yes, the data that it will pull out is from the properties that you select. So that way, that's how the system will know how to fill those variables. For example, property address. It will take it from the property that you are currently sending the document. I will show you after how the preview of the document will look like, and you will see how the system will fill up all of those variables that we just added. So yes, it will take it from the data from the property that you are trying to, that you are about to send the document. Exactly, Jeffrey said this will be a big time saver. Yes, that's exactly why we added this feature. It will save you a lot of time. So once that you are finished with this, it's just a matter of selecting the property, adding the offer price, and send. You can start sending your documents in less than 10 seconds. It's very, very easy to do it. So I already saved it. If I close it, everything is here. I have two options about the name, something that I didn't explain before. You can also put switch it over between buyer and seller. That's also an option. It's not necessary only for the buyer. You can select to be the seller, and that way the system will recognize under the variable of buyer and seller if input the name of the owner or the agent or the one that you're trying to buy, or your own name. Okay. Also, you have the second option where you can input your company's name. So you can input your company's name, your company address, and you have this active or inactive. So if you want to use the first option, just leave as active this one, or if you always want to use the second option with your company, active this one. And when you active this one, of course, this one is going to be inactive. So depending on which one do you want to use, you switch it over. So let's now, if I close it and open it again, it did. You will see it takes a little bit load, but all of it's going to be there. Now, this is for as is or far bar contract, as you see. Okay, remember that you have to upload your own documents to it. But we do have, for this type of contract, a pre-selection or a template to add all of this information. How to use that is just as by selecting template manager. Select, let's gonna do this. So you see, let's gonna add a new one, just in a brief moment, like this. The disclaimer that we see before. It's gonna wait until it loads. It takes a little bit, but it does it. Like that. And if you were wondering why did this look like this, don't pay attention. The important is how it looks inside. So I added a blank one. Remember, this is blank. I have to start all over again. No. Why? Because I can't use the template that we already have in here. We have one for every customer. It's not only the one that is under mentorship. You also have for any customer, the REIFax general. If you apply it under a SaaS is or a fair bar contract, apply to it. And you will see that the variables appears. Why it seems to be a little bit off the lines? Because that depends on the size of your document, okay? Maybe the one that it was created before, the one where you create this template, it was a little bigger or it was placed a little bit, but it's just as simple as review the document and move it around, drag it around, place it in the corresponding form. And that's it, see? And also you will have a better look on what you should use in here. See, offer price, initial deposit, additional deposit, all of that is going to be taken into account. Escrow agent, escrow address, all of it. Just move it around, place it all over, move a little bit your initials or signatures, and like that. Also, if you want to create your own, that's why I added a new one, because you can also, let's say that you want to use the one that we already did in this one that is a little bit different, and you want to create a template and only change a little variable. So you can use the one that you already added and create a new template, give it a name, for example, as is, I don't know, as is personal, like this. So now with this variable, place it all over like we did it before, we already create a template where I can select, just look it into the list, it's on the first option, and select it over. So if I create a new one, let's use this one. And instead of using the REIFax general, I use my own personalized template, apply. You see, that is going to be applied. So any small change that you need to be done is going to take like this, and it will save you a lot of time. So it's only in reality, it's only the first time that you need to place all of the order. When you by using this template, it will save you a lot of time itself. So any questions so far? Okay, I think that so far so good. We are good. So all of that just explaining how to upload a document, a contract, but we also have the additional documents, okay, that you can upload in your document and to be sent together. And the system will also recognize those. But how to add those? Remember that every document needs to have an additional document to it, okay? And you're the one who need to add it. So it's gonna place this all over again. No, that's way too much. So how to upload any additional documents? Just by selecting add in here under additional documents. Of course, you also need those additional documents as a blank PDF file. Just by selecting, for example, the LVPD that I have in here, add it, the disclaimer that we already see, agree with it. And now the system will have it in here. So if you want to edit it, of course, it's just by clicking the small pencil and start editing. Like we did it before, the same procedure, just adding everything that you need from the variables, from the text, from your signatures. I'm not going to do it because you already know how to do it. And you can select to be like this and to be sent as default, or leave it on blank. And when you are in the sending documents, just click it over to be sent. So if you wanted to always send it, just leave it as default. If not, leave it on blank. But what you need to add is how the system recognizes if it is an MND, a proof of fund, or an addendum or additional. So in this case, for example, I will select, correct me if I'm mistaken, as an additional, like this, so the system will recognize it, okay? And now save it. So that's gonna give it a name so we can recognize it. Webinar, like we did it before. Why it wasn't saved? And oh, see, that's, if you see, the deed contract, it was already saved because I saved it before. But what I didn't do, and that's a common mistake, and see, I did it myself, is that I didn't save it in here. That's a very important step to save this option. So address one, acceptance days. Well, this is the first time that I added, but I was gonna do it again. Additional document, let's see. And save. It's important to save it. If not, the changes are not going to be saved. Now I save it. So now I already upload the document. I already assigned the variables and everything on it. How this will look like. Let's gonna look at it up. So for this, you will need to send a document. If you are wondering how to send a document from the overview of the property or from the follow-up, please check out the video that we have in the help section that explains how to send a document, okay? In the case that you're doing it from the follow-up, is by simply selecting the document, the property, apologize, and select send document. So now let's go to select the document that we just create, okay? This one. So remember that before sending any document, it's necessary to have an offer price, because we input the variable of offer. Without it, if I use one that it doesn't have an offer, like this one, for example, it will give me this error indicating me that it doesn't have an offer price. So I have to add it. I can add it like this, very simple steps. Remember that all of this can be explained on the how to send documents video. I just wanted to do a quick review of that so you will know. Select the document like this. You will have a list of all your documents. See that the additional document that will upload appears in here. We have the additional. See, this I cannot change it. So that's why you need to select it before on the settings bar. You can select it to be sent with it or without it. If I select it on the default on the setting, it will appear as like this. Initial deposit, all of this, you can also customize it and change it over here. This is the previous selection that we did it before, but you can also, if you need it, change it over here. And let's gonna check a preview on how it looks like. Again, any questions so far? Remember to your questions go in your over the chat. I always look at the chat, so if you have it, please do it over there. Let's see, no questions so far. Okay. Now, how it look like? Well, see, the parties will fill up. See how it was filled up automatically. I didn't do anything besides putting the variables. All this in there. The system knows how to do it like this. No overlapping. This is important. locating the policy. I need to move a little bit this one maybe. Also my name, maybe a little bit if you want to be like that in professional. Everything is in there. This one doesn't have all of this. I only added this one. Different if I use the one that it used the REIFax template that it has everything. My initial is in here, although it's very clear, it's in there. If I go to the last part, it's loading. Remember that though this is a document of 15 or 12 page. So, see, the additional terms are in there. I did it incomplete, that's why it looks incomplete here, but the closing agent will be REIFax title, my escrow agent, and my signatures. And like that, everything is good so far. If I need to make a change, like we saw in here, for example, with the county or my name, you can do it by edit it. Although, if you edit it from here, you are editing the base template, okay? So it's not only going to be changed for this one, it's going to be changed for everything. So pay attention on that. If you are going to do a small change for only one, you have to change it back. So let's gonna edit it very easily. I need to move it a little bit. The county, maybe my name, we place it better like this. Save it. Remember to always save it to save those changes. Now it's gonna close the preview and open it again to see if the changes were made. When you select preview, it will open as a pop-up the PDF file. So it's important to have the enable pop-up, the pop-ups enabled on your browser. If you don't have it, it will show here display an error and it will not appear. You have to turn it on, the enable pop-up, and that way it will appear. Okay, so I moved it already. Maybe I need to move it more, but that's okay. And now, everything is so far is good. You can also change customize and change the font color to be blue or black, white in that case, if you need it. The size, although we recommend to stick with 10, if not, it may go out of the lines. If you put it bigger, we will not recommend that. We will recommend to leave it as in 10. But if you need, for any reason to change the letter, maybe it's a small contract or contract, and you are very sure that it's not going to be out the lines, well, you can change it. Your option is in there. Also, well, the font, you can change it, the fonts. And now to send it over, select email. It will be sent with the default email template. Remember that you can customize and create your own email templates and select it from the menu over here, like this. To know how to create these templates, the email templates, remember that you can also watch the videos that explain how to do it. But if you need a quick change over here, for example, I'm not going to work with an agent, I'm going to work with an owner. Well, I can select the variables from the list, very similar to what we did it before. In this case, owner name, and like this. The system will know how to fill this. So it's going to be sent the document with this template and the document attached to it. It's just by sending the document. I'm not going to send it because I'm not actually going to make any purchase or any offer, but it's just by sending document, it will be sent this email with this contract that we already looked as an attached. So that's what we have for today. And I hope that everyone understand everything. If you have questions, this is the moment to do it. Any questions? Okay, now it doesn't want to load, but that's because my connection is not great. I apologize. Now it loads. This is the document that is going to be attached to it. So And any questions before we finish? I'm looking at the chat. Let's gonna see if we have any. I apologize if you hear any sound in the background. I think we are good. I think that everything was great. Thanks. Thanks, Danny. This is my first webinar, so I was a little bit nervous, I have to say it. But thanks everyone for being here, for being part of the REIFax family. Remember that you did a good job. Thanks, Jeffrey. Thanks a lot for the feedback. I really appreciate it. Remember that we have all these webinar sessions every Friday at 10 a.m. when we teach different parts of the system. Before it was asking if we are going to have one with the search techniques. Yes, eventually we will address that issue, that the theme. Always we have, well, we already have some saved, some records in regarding of search techniques. So you can look for previous record or being here every Friday with us. So we eventually address those issues again, or maybe any important thing that we need to discuss over a webinar. So I think that we are good for today. I'm going to say goodbye, everyone. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks for being part of the REIFax family, and see you soon. Bye.